the Experience Pros Radio Show, home of the original Fan Braggin' Fridays. Take just 20 seconds to become a business revolutionary by sharing a Fan Braggin' story of great customer service by using the hashtag FanBrag or calling the Fan Braggin' hotline at 855-FAN-BRAG, FANBRAG. Now back to Angel and Eric, the Experience Pros.
Welcome back to the Experience Pros Radio Show. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us for ours. Hey, did you get the memo about the meeting?
Another one?
Yeah.
Another one?
Uh-huh.
Didn't we already meet about that?
Yep.
Are we going to meet about it again?
I think so.
Right? When it comes to the business world, and according to multiple research studies, on average, employees spend 6 hours and managers spend more than 23 hours a week in meetings.
What? Sorry.
And most of the time, they feel like they are sitting in wasted and unproductive and poorly run meetings. And here's the thing, unproductive meetings are everyone's problem. Whether you're leading an organization, managing a team, or participating as a contributor, you have the power to improve your meetings. It's time to put an end to wasteful, energy-draining meetings. Meetings can and must be more engaging, fruitful, and enjoyable to everyone. And here to help us create better meetings, our expert guest is Mamie Canfor-Stewart, the author of Momentum, Creating Effective, Engaging, and Enjoyable Meetings. Mamie Canfor-Stewart, welcome to Experience Pros.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Mamie, it's very nice to have you. Listen, earlier in the program, we talked about BS, which is bad service. Now I want to talk a little bit about BMs.
Bad meetings.
Bad meetings. And you say that an organization's culture can play a role in both in bad meetings and the solution. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So culture is a lot of things in an organization. It can be how people treat each other. It can be whether you're kind of innovation driven or you're a competitive kind of internal culture. There's so many different aspects of it. And meetings, because they happen every day, many people go to them from the top, chief officers down to your brand new employees. They play a role in culture. How people interact in meetings, kind of whether the boss is the only one who ever gets to make a decision, whether new people and younger people have a voice, whether women are being heard, whether there's space for quiet people who are more introverted. All of those things play out in meetings, and that's a reflection of the organization's culture on a larger scale.
I have a coworker here that every time they call for a meeting, he says, okay, so we're all going to go into this meeting where we're going to be unproductive. And in the meantime, while I'm not sitting in this meeting, or while I'm sitting in this meeting, I'm not getting the work done that I should be doing. And I come out with extra work that needs to get done.
She's looking at me funny.
It just seems to be this never-ending cycle. We keep pulling people off of their work so we can do a meeting where we bring in more work and then take them away from their work. Is there a way that that we can just really be more effective and put an end to these dreadful, wasty meetings? Do we need to meet at all, Mamie?
There are a lot of meetings that don't actually need to be meetings. So that's definitely the first piece. It's really reflecting on your calendar and all the meetings that you've been invited to and all the meetings that you're running and asking yourself, do we actually need to have this meeting? And it starts with, what are we trying to achieve? Some things that you're trying to achieve in a meeting can be achieved through other methods, through a shared document or a dashboard or an email. And you don't have to have the meeting at all. Other meetings do need to happen, and then it's about making sure you've got the right people invited so you're not wasting people's time who don't really need to be there, and that you have a really clear agenda and you stay on track so that at the end of the meeting you can reflect and say, did we accomplish what we set out to do? And if we did, this was probably a good use of time.
Huh.
That's not happening.
It's not. It's not. And actually, one of the problems that gets to culture is around this concept of FOMO, fear of missing out, right?
Right.
If you're not in a meeting, then you don't have a chance to weigh in on a decision. If you're not in a meeting, no one's going to tell you what's going on. So even if the meeting isn't really exactly relevant for you, you still have to show up. Or even if there's only one part of the meeting that's important for you, you still have to go to the entire hour instead of just the 20 minutes. So we haven't yet figured out, or most companies haven't yet figured out, how to plan meetings in a way that gives people a chance to weigh in so they don't have to be in the meeting to contribute, and to take good notes and communicate afterwards. So you don't have to be in the meeting to be in the know.
Well, okay. Now, hold on, though. If you're not in the meeting, how are you going to take good notes and have yourself represented?
Well, a good practice is to have one person be responsible for the notes, and that doesn't mean that one person has to be the note taker. It does mean that one person is going to be responsible for making sure that there is a documentation that clarifies what decisions were made, what actions or next steps are coming out of this, and who's going to do them by when, and what are the critical information, highlights, key takeaways that should be shared. And one of the recommendations we have in our book is to do this by doing a wrap-up. So at the end of the meeting, the last 5 minutes are always reserved for building the notes collectively. And that's the time where the people in the room can say, okay, let's recap. This is what we decided. This is who's going to do what. And is there any critical information we want to make sure gets shared outside of this room? And then one person in those 5 minutes is typing it up so that by the time the meeting ends, they can click that send on the email or share on that document wherever they're storing those notes, and it gets sent out to the people who need to be informed.
Does this really, have you had success, Mimi, with helping people change their culture of how they're using meetings?
Yes, we've had lots of wonderful successes with teams. It doesn't take that much to change, right? People know you should have an agenda. The idea of taking meeting notes is not rocket science. People are very aware of what the practices are supposed to be. They're just not so good at, one, doing them consistently, and two, doing them in kind of what I would say is like the best practice or the right way. So an agenda for people who often do have them is like a list of things they're going to do in the meeting, and they forget that early step of what are we trying to accomplish in this meeting. So teaching people these practices and coaching them through, they actually tend to have really good results because, again, it's not rocket science.
Right. And when you think about the number of hours, and we all want them to be more fruitful and more engaging for everyone involved. But if we keep doing what we've always done,
you're
right?
going to get what you always got.
Exactly. The book is called Momentum. We're talking with Mamie Canfor Stewart, creating effective, engaging, and enjoyable meetings. Mamie, how do you want our listeners to get a copy of the book Momentum and stay engaged with you about having engaged meetings?
You can buy the book on Amazon. If you're buying bulk orders, you can buy them on our website and get a discount. Our website is Meteor, MEETEOR.com. And you can find me at Mamie KS on Twitter. And you can find Meteor on Twitter at Meteor HQ.
I like meteor because it's the word meet, right? And we're talking about being more effective in our meetings. And we know that the companies that take this very seriously, you know, their staff doesn't feel like they're wasting time anymore. Mamie, thanks so much for being our guest today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. You know, if we could be more productive and maybe I have a role there. You're gonna assign me the note taking, aren't you?
Well, I think that the person that seems to be the most distracted and the least paying attention is the ideal person to
draw the short straw.
Yeah, to take the notes. The one that seems to be completely unengaged and just, you know, kind of they're there because they don't want to miss out on the conversation, but they're not really there participating or contributing or maybe being an active participant. Yeah, get them to take the notes and problem solved. Thanks, Mamie.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Right. I mean, we had to instill a rule in our meetings that we couldn't bring our laptops because they were just too
productive,
too distracting.
Productive.
Oh, so now you can multitask. Nope. He's going to tell me he doesn't multitask, but yet in a meeting, this is how I'm being the most productive. And again, it's that one because you think, okay, I've got work to do. And this meeting is interrupting the work. So you bring the work in and think that you're going to be a contributor and participate. We actually turned out that our meetings went so much faster and we got them finished quicker when the laptops weren't brought into the meeting.
That is true.
So, you know, we could all find more ways to be more engaging. Make sure you participate in Colorado Gives Day going on here in the state of Colorado. We have matching funds going to all the local charities or even some national charities as Well, it's been a pretty big deal year after year for the charities here in Colorado. ColoradoGivesDay.org, a couple that we support here through Experience Pros Network, are Bridge of Hope, Greater Denver, and the American Cancer Society. And so if you're looking for some places to give that donation to today, ColoradoGives.org.
All right. And, as you talk about meetings, I know that I kind of poo-poo the whole idea, but I know the value of meetings.
Kind of poo-poo the idea.
I was having meetings before you were a twinkle. So
you think you would be better at it?
Nope. Just more skilled at wanting to change the culture of meetings.
Just wanting,
We'll be back with more positive business talk. You're listening to Angel Tussie and Eric Kramer. This is the Experience Pros Radio Network.
You're listening to the Experience Pros Radio Show, America's home for positive business talk.